Okay, guys, we are live! So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly, what am I going to be? I'm going to be your friendly, chronicler of Nemedia today. Because today, after 20 years of waiting, I am finally getting to the table Mongoose Publishing's outstanding Conan the Roleplaying Game. This is the Atlantean edition, but one thing I have recently learned is the Atlantean edition is just the reprint with errata edition. There is no otherwise substantive difference between this and the game that was released in 2003. There's a second edition of this game, but it has a notorious binding issue with the main book. So this is the game that we are bringing to the table, and with me tonight are the stars of tonight's session, and tomorrow's session for that matter, and who will be playing a pair of Hyborian heroes. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing tonight. First up, we've got Dave.
Hey everyone, I'm Dave, and I am playing Hakon Doomwinter. He is a level 3 barbarian, level 2 borderer, which is kind of the game's equivalent of a ranger, which makes him just a whole mess of damage and no armor. So it's gonna be
nice. Ill-tempered Strider. And joining him is Jamie.
Hey everybody, I'm Jamie. I am playing Sir Isidore. He is a Numidian noble and soldier and a student of some of sorcery, I believe. So
Wannabe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So this game is based on the OGL. It has a class-based system. It has levels from 1 to 20, and there are, well, at its core, you'll recognize a lot of the stuff that you would see in the D&D 3rd or 3.5 or any of the games that were directly inspired by them. There are a lot of ways this game diverges, so you'll see some ways where it is different from the other games. Rather than going through and pointing those out, we'll just talk about them as they go. And our session tonight is entitled A Princess of Shem. Guys, hold on. Before we start our Conan session, as is custom, in all Conan sessions, we need to start with an invocation of the Nemedian Chronicle. So know, O Prince, that between the years when the ocean drank Atlantis and the gleaming cities, and the years of the rise of the sons of Ares, there was an age undreamed of, when shining kingdoms lay spread across the world like blue mantles beneath the stars. Nemedia, Ophir, Brithunia, Hyperborea, Zamora, with its dark-haired women and towers of spider-haunted mystery. Zingara, with its chivalry. Koth, that bordered on the pastoral lands of Shem. Stygia, with its shadow-guarded tombs. Hyrcania, whose riders were steel and silk and gold. But the proudest kingdom of the world was Aquilonia, reigning supreme in the dreaming west. Hither came Conan, the Cimmerian, black-haired, sullen-eyed, sword in hand, a thief, a reaver, a slayer, with gigantic melancholies and gigantic mirth, to tread the jeweled thrones of the earth under his sandaled feet. And with that mighty introduction, our scene opens in said pastoral lands of Shem. And what I would ask you guys to picture is dawn coming to these long rows of golden grass. There are heavy clouds in the sky, as in this illustration, heavy with the promise of rain, which, from the looks of how verdant everything is not an uncommon event. But if you look very closely, what you would see, sitting half concealed in the grasslands, in a vantage point from which he can look out, away from the rising sun, is Hakon Doomwinter. The look on his face of determination and steel tells you that he has been on watch for much of the night. First to rise from the crude lean-to built underneath a small bush. Next, wearing shabby, or shabby would not be a right word for it, but definitely well-worn clothes that speak of a more noble origin, will be Sir Isidore. He crawls rather than stands over to where Hakon is, and you can see as he puts his hand up, there is a bandage on his hand, suggesting a recent and impromptu treated wound. And he sighed. Hakon, not taking his eyes off of the darkened horizon, shakes his head. Not one. And from underneath in the darkness of the lean-to, you hear a word, or you hear a voice come. Nurgle's bloody balls! This is no way for a man to sleep. And who pulls himself out from within is a man who looks like this. Traveled, or well-traveled observers would note many of the characteristics of a wealthy man, lesser nobility, or perhaps a wealthy merchant from one of the Shemitish city-states, a merchant of Shem. He pulls himself out. Any sign of our pursuers?
None. Yet.
Well, there's that then, at least. I don't suppose you hunted while you watched?
Wouldn't be much of a watch if I wasn't here.
The singular focus of your kinsfolk, I see, is not exaggerated, Northman. Is it safe to go, then? And Hakon, why don't you give us... Actually, why don't each of you guys give us perception checks, please? Hold on, is it perception in this game? No, it is spot. Dave, your favorite!
Spot checks.
Sir Isidore is not particularly gifted with this. No, but proven wrong by the dice. That's incredible. Whoa! The two of you search the horizon for any sign of movement. I can tell you that the individual with whom you are now traveling, Gabal was originally traveling with a retinue of 20. He is the only who survives. You see nothing, though.
We should go.
It's clear for now.
Good. My foes are thwarted. Tonight, we will drink ourselves drunk on Masantian wine. And you, she points to Sir Isidore, you will be enchanted by my Jamila and her knowledge. Truly, you will see that I have married well above my station. Belle favors me, and not those who would prey on my fortune. Come, help me up. I am not used to resting in such modest ways as it seems you are. Come. Akbatania awaits. And to give some context to Akbatania and to Shem in general. So I'm going to take a very quick look at a map of Shem. Shem, rightly, is called by some as the gateway to the south, because from the northern kingdoms to the west here would be Aquilonia, and actually there would be a couple other nations first, and then Aquilonia is up in that direction. Once you get past Koth and Ophir, you get to Nemedia, I believe, which is, oh, Nemedia's up here. Shem is a gateway between these mountains here, and then the forbidding land of Stygia. You are on your way currently to Akbatania. And would Sir Isidore, would you give us a knowledge history check, please? You can give us a knowledge geography check, actually, Hakon, if you'd like. Ken. So if you're happy with that, or do you want to spend any fate points? That's pretty good geography. So here's what I'll tell you, and while Sir Isidore decides whether any fate points need be spent. Akbatania is what, even that roll for history, Akbatanian steel is the finest in the Hyborian world. At least the finest forged by living hands. There are, lost civilizations that have founded things that equal it, but there is nowhere else in the world that makes steel like Akbatanian steel. And for those listening at home, one of the things that is neat about this game, because it uses mechanics for the hardness and for breaking weapons and whatnot, weapons are not as precious in this as they are in 3.5, in the sense that people don't get a magic item and hold on to it. They'll fight with something until either they lose it or they strike a mighty blow that sunders both it and their foe. And that is where you're heading. Your goal is not necessarily to upgrade your weaponry with something, but you will be bearing witness to the finest blacksmiths anywhere in the world, working with the finest materials anywhere in the world. And what you know, Hakon, Akbatania is probably the greatest of the trade cities. It sits at the nexus of what is coming from the west, from the north, heading out and back to the distant east and south into forbidding Stygia and the Black Kingdoms that lie beyond. It is said that in the markets of Akbatania you should find almost anything. The bazaar itself almost as staggering and as impressive a monument as the towering ziggurat of Ishtar that is said to dominate the center of a city. Whatever you may be looking for, Sir Isidore, there is a chance it will be found in the walls of Akbatania. Now, the rest of the day's travel, fortunately, is uneventful. Shemites, what you would know as well, Sir Isidore, are broadly thought of as two different types of people. They share the same language, they share the same, many of the same cultures, they share the same gods, but their lifestyle are very different. The pastoral Shem live out among these grasslands as nomads and scavengers and sometimes bandits. The city-bound Shemites have built some of the grandest cities that would rival anything anywhere else in the Hyborian world. And it is built on prophet and prayer. What happened yesterday is this Shemitic merchant was set upon by pastoral Shem raiders. You two happened upon it. You overheard sound. You saw fat city dwellers being carved down by bandits. And then an arrow came in your direction. And there are very few ranged weapons in this world as lethal as a Shemitic bow. So it was prudent for you to put an end to that threat. It also so happens that you saved the life of this merchant, and he's promised you a bounty as a way of saying thanks. I'll put his name in as a name tag here. Go. What Gabal, who claims to have access to great sums of money and to great knowledge, he said first he would be happy to host a night of Nemedia, but once you told him of his of your scholarly interests, he told you his wife, Jamila, is apparently very well versed in many of the exotic magics among the Shemitic people. You've heard with a roll of that. Do you have, let's see, you're training in, you can give us an Arcana check, actually, as well. Knowledge Arcana. Sir Isidore. Hakon, you were not trained in Knowledge Arcana.
No.
It's pretty good. So what you know is that there are a variety of different types of god. Like, for one thing, the Shemitic folk are polytheistic. They worship a variety of gods, and they fear demons. Their variety of magics are more on the protective side, but they have, it's said, a variety of different types of sorcerers, from diviners to exorcists to those versed in the healing spells. So lots of opportunity to learn. I'll leave it to you to decide what specifically you are looking to learn from, but at the very least, the promise of a rich meal, of a warm bed, and of a very grateful, wealthy patron was enough for you to escort this guy to Akbatania. As the day passes, is there anything you guys wish to speak to Gabal about, or anything to ask him about, or are you busy keeping an eye out for any more sign of those pursuers? You are taking, at Hakon's suggestion, the overland route to reach Akbatania. Akbatania has 4 different gates, each from significant, varying degrees, trade routes. But you're coming from an oblique angle. If his pursuers, or those hired by his enemies, are expecting him to come along one of those routes, you figured this was the safest way to betray that lazy thinking, or to confound lazy thinking on their part. Any questions? Oh, go ahead.
Sir Isidore would try to keep Gabal thinking forward and not thinking back to his loss, and he would ask about Gabal. You say Jamila has some knowledge of the arcane and sorcery. Does she know anything about changing the elements or controlling the elements, magic of this sort?
First, there are those who offer prayers up to Enlil, our god of fury and storms. But I do not know. Truth told, when she goes on about her studies, I tend to turn my mind back to money. I fear I would be a pure instructor on those arts, but my Jamila her wisdom is only exceeded by her beauty.
Well, I should very much love to learn from her. Sounds fascinating.
Yes, I think she will find you a very interesting guest, and you will find much of value in what you seek to find. And I have not forgotten you, Northman. My mind is turning to ways to thank you beyond a full cup and a not empty bed. So,
well, that all sounds good. But first, we have to get back.
Indeed. I'm certain it's a rival who has set them upon me. They would have no reason for preying upon us. There is perfidy at hand. Some will pay. He said this probably about once an hour. Usually when he's complaining about, stone in my shoe, the perfidy, some will pay. The sun is so bright today. The perfidy, some will pay. And so on. It is about midday when you first lay eyes upon the gleaming walls of Akbatania. And allow me to show you what you will be seeing. Witness the walls of Akbatania, says Gabal. We will find safety and much comfort within. But do you see anything, Hakon? Your eyes are as those of a hawk. Do my enemies lay in wait for this final stretch?
They could be anywhere. We must be cautious.
This is wise.
I will go first. Then you, Sir Isidore. You will have rear guard.
Bye.
And me in the center.
Perhaps we should not look. Can we disguise you somehow? Even just change your attire or modify it slightly?
He looks down.
Not to.
What should be changed?
I don't know. Something that speaks more peasant and penniless. Perhaps. Less wealthy merchant who's going to fill my trencher and my cups all night.
Do you... Are you suggesting we change clothes, Hakon? Because I tell you, your belly, it pales in comparison to mine. These will hang off you as you a child. Now, he's kind of lying because you are a big motherfucker. They will be billowy on you, but you are a very big dude. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, actually, it wouldn't be terrible for him and I to even swap some of our garb, just so that it's less obvious of him walking down the street.
Yeah.
So he's like coming up to the city, and it's like, okay, well, let's just go behind this bush here and come out and like, this is terrible. You look like a Northman wearing Shemite clothes, and he looks like a Shemite wearing Northman clothes. But
it also is clear that his upper body has not seen sun in quite some time, so he is a very, very white looking dude. He looks down. Oh, truly, if this to be laid low and humbled in such a way, the perfidy. Someone will pay.
Someone.
So, as you approach the gate with yourselves, your newfound clothes, Hakon, and Sir Isidore in tow as clearly a knight from one of the Western kingdoms, what do you guys do? What's the strategy here for talking your way in?
You know, maybe I got this wrong. Sir Isidore, perhaps you should be up front as a man of nobility and station to help ease our passage into the city.
Sure, I will try. Does Sir Isidore have any pre-existing knowledge about the reputation of the city?
Beyond what I've told you thus far, not really. I mean, it is a city of merchants. They venerate the goddess Ishtar. Ishtar is the goddess of war and fertility.
Maybe anything related to the government or the local officials that he might use for his advantage to help us through.
Yeah. I mean, if you can call on Gebel's influence as a merchant, his merchants have a great deal of sway in getting through these gates a lot faster. So perhaps if either yourself or Hakon presented themselves as as local travelers, or as travelers coming from abroad. I'm checking your. So like you speak Stygian. I think you both speak Stygian actually. Let's see here. No. So Hakon speaks Kushite, which would be the. Oof. Yeah. Aquilonian is the closest that Hakon speaks, apart from like Pidgin, kind of trade tongue stuff. So, Zamorin and Stygian are both bordering countries, and Numidia is only just to the north of Koth. So, Sir Isidore, you could disguise yourself, have Hakon disguised as the merchant, and then you yourself as a translator, and call on Gebel's name to try and convince him to expedite the process that's where you're going and who you're seeing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was looking for something like that. What would be more that they're used to seeing and that they would be comfortable with? So
sure. Are you trying to you are trying to bamboozle. There's also be a bluff check then. So at your leisure, why don't you give us a bluff and hold on. Aid another in this, I think, is only a DC 10. So Hakon, if you got some way of potentially helping out here, I'm happy to. Yeah, it's only DC 10. Grants a +2 on a success. So even things you're crappy at, you're welcome to try. Like if you're trying to disguise yourself, that would just be a raw charisma check. So probably just a D10 or a D20.
Yeah, that's convince Gebal that he has to give off let me wear all his gold bangles and stuff like that to make it look like I'm the rich merchant. Like, you'll get them back.
Sure. Yeah. Give us a disguise check then too. I'll give you a +2 because you do have a ton of stuff on there. So your charisma is a 0, so it's a D20 +2. Now you could fate point that. It could be a 1d10, and even if you rolled less than 10, you had 10 to the result.
So just roll a d10?
No, it's roll a d20.
Okay.
If you want to spend a fate point, spend it. Roll again.
Yeah, I'm gonna fade it and roll again.
Okay. A 1. So
11.
That still
Now
counts as an 11. So mark off one of your fate points from this. Tell us, what does it look like as Hakon walks up wearing all these sumptuous things that billow incredibly around the waist, but fit very tight around your massive shoulders?
Wow, that was cool. Did you know that if you hover over the token, or you click on the token, it brings up a fort save, initiative, magic attack, reflex save, and will save?
Yeah.
I accidentally did a reflex save.
There's a baked in what do you call it? Macros with this. I feel like the character sheet feels very half completed. Like there's basic functionality, and there's a couple of really neat things, and then some stuff that did not get finished. But what does it look like as Hakon comes striding up here?
I think he's just got his chest up, and he's all puffed out, and he's trying to make it look like he's this important person, and he has no idea how to do any of that. So he's really, really struggling to pull it off.
Okay. It's also, his hair is wild and got fucking stuff in it still. Sir Isidore, you will have +2 to your bluff. Unfortunately, we have to add it afterwards. I don't think you can add a modifier on the character sheet, so go ahead and give us a bluff check whenever you like. 14, so that's 16 total. Comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay. So, that was a 5 you rolled.
Ooh, maybe I'm not too comfortable with this. I thought it was okay. I'm looking at the
Yeah.
roll too. Yeah. I
So-
think I will spend a fate point here.
Okay.
This is seems
Yeah, go right
important.
ahead. So let's re-roll that, and then we'll add, if you roll less than 10, we'll add 10 to the total.
All right.
That was a 7, so that's actually a 26. So what does Sir Isidore say as it walks up? And Hakon, perhaps you turn and say something in Nordheimer, to him to then translate back. I don't think Sir Isidore... Yeah, you don't actually speak Nordheimer, so he's speaking gibberish to you as far as you know. What do you say?
Speak in I have Aquilonian, don't I?
You do, yeah.
I could speak in Aquilonian.
Yeah, both of you guys speak Aquilonian.
Yeah. That's probably our, when we're trying to impress people.
Yeah. Your common languages are Aquilonian, Zingaran, and that's it.
Okay.
So after I think we'll speak briefly in Aquilonian, and we'll be kind of calm, and then I'll turn towards the individual and say that me and my esteemed
Let me show you who
employer.
you're talking to. I forgot. Sure. Madison, come on, get on the ball here. There are the Shemitish warriors, the Asurhai, or the Asurai. That is who waits at the door. The gate. The door. It's like a fucking bungalow you're going in.
Yeah, when we approach, then Sir Isidore, after speaking with Hakan, will turn to the official and say that good day. We returning to the city. My esteemed employer here, Gabal, and I wish to conduct some further business, as he is a known merchant here.
And which merchant?
I think Gabal.
Oh. And he looks at the others. You have papers? Or... And you would know, just from your travels, these guys probably don't read. So this might be a shakedown, or might just be trying to test you.
So part of the bluff, possibly I could produce something written, or ask Hakan or
You
Gabal
got a 26 on this.
written.
You could even go back and call them. Like, you have some. These guys who guard the gates. Yeah, they have the authority of the the local potentate, but they ain't connected to the merchants who are the lifeblood of this stuff. So if this chucklehead thinks he can shake you down for money, you can feel free to put him in his place.
Yeah, I'll tell him. I would say there really no need for paperwork. That is beneath us. Certainly, the business of the merchant class is in the best interest of the city, and you can allow us to proceed, right?
So, Hakon, you're not quite sure what Sir Isidore is saying, but you can most definitely see some of that lordly bearing coming in. This is a guy who grew up in a family where he would tell people to do things, and it was expected that they would do it. The guard definitely... Oh, go ahead.
I'll just try to look impatient.
The guard, suitably chastened, says, please, go. You can find him in... he says, do you know where you're going? And I don't know if you guys had actually spoke to him about this, but there is a district called Choga that actually is not far from where you guys are entering. You are entering from the Nana Gate. Let me show you guys. Madison, do you have a map for this? Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Sounds like you're well prepared.
Well, you say that, the viewers at home will see that I am just setting up the map right now. I didn't load it, though, so there is that. Okay. Here we are, guys.
You know, that's more than half the battle, because you could have just said, oh, there's a map for this, and then have to like go and find it somewhere online and paying for a subscription to something and then loading. Like
That's just true.
You've skipped many steps. Many steps.
I'll take that. Flattery of the DM's incompetence. That is always a route to fate points. So here we go. This.
Oh.
There you go. This. Akbatana. You were entering the Nana Gate, where there is a... Oh, no, here we the... Enbilu? Yeah. Enbilulu Gate. Destination is Choga, the Choga district, which is each of the Karum districts you can see down here, guys. These are like caravanseries or merchant places, or places where merchants live. The sword areas are where the Akbatanian steel is forged. It is such a massive source of industry. That is where they go. The craftsmen are where other sundry manufacturers are located. In the slums, well, I think you know what those are. And right in the center, the towering ziggurat of Ishtar. And I have something to fuel your imagination here. Behold, the ziggurat of Ishtar. So as you step through the Cabal turns to you, kind of walks up towards where you are, Sir Isidore. And why don't you each give us a will save? You guys have traveled far and wide too, but this is truly a wonder. I'm curious how agape your mouth is. Now, you guys are... So how are you reacting to the splendor and the towering majesty of the Tower of Ishtar, or the ziggurat of Ishtar?
I think Sir Isidore is impressed, but he tries not to act as if it's something he hasn't seen before. He's trying to act like he's been there, done that a little bit right now, as he continues to lead the way a little bit.
And Hakon?
And Hakon he has seen many wonders since he left his people. This is another. But the more wonders he sees, the less they enrapture him.
Mm-hmm. So, true, from a place, if you grew up surrounded by mountains, you would fail to marvel at them after seeing your 20th or 40th. You find as well, there are many fine canals leading through, both to and alongside the ziggurat of Ishtar. Gabal says, we must take care. The streets unattended. This is where I could be at my most vulnerable.
We shall avoid the alleyways and we'll stick together.
Indeed. And what are you guys thinking here? Are you sneaking your way through? Or are you just trying to continue on with the deception of being a, northern or Nordheimer merchant and his trusty knight bodyguard?
Yeah, I don't think sneaking is going to be a great option.
Yeah, I think it's more the continuing to roll with the disguise and the supporting cast behind the disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So maybe again we'll be making Hakon look as if he's the true local.
Sure. So you do your best. why don't we reverse things here? So, Sir Isidore, if you'd like to help him, I think a bluff might be of assistance here, and then we'll have Hakon give us a disguise check. That's pretty fucking good. 24? Wow. So, why don't we give you +3 to your disguise check there, Hakon? So, +5 in total to your d20.
Oh, I just hit the disguise button.
Oh,
well, you can still +5 to that. So that's 12. So it's not
12.
terrible. Yeah.
Not terrible. But you know what? He wants to sell it. He wants to sell it. So let's sell it.
This is also perhaps the softest travel clothing that you have ever worn.
20 plus 5. Actually, you use the... Oh, there we go.
Look at that. Nat 20, baby. So, yeah, you very easily fall into the role. You've seen enough rich merchants. You've, in your days as a pirate, you certainly robbed enough of them.
Yeah.
So, this...
And I think to sell it even more, he keeps using the phrase that the merchant was using earlier. Just like trying to... I can't remember exactly what you keep saying, but he's
the
like...
Perfidy.
He's going to say... The perfidy. And he's like, no, get that stuff away from me. And tries to load it on really thick.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Why don't you give us a diplomacy check, 2 there, Hakon? This is
I don't hurt someone's feelings.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I want to see how well he's taking it. He's taking it pretty well. He's not chuckling, but he is,
Yeah, it's not done in jest. It's not done to make fun of him. It's done to
try and blend in for sure.
Make this seem authentic.
Yeah, and the ruse seems to have worked because you are, even though the streets of Akbatana can be dangerous. You are able to make your way to his walled home in safety. So, when he comes up,
give him back his clothing.
Well, he holds up and he says, "Perhaps, Hakon, my neighbors would benefit from not seeing a stripping northerner. He will seem drunk in the middle of day. Such things must be done inside." So he walks up and bangs on the door. "Open the door, your master is home." And you hear someone open the door and says, "No begging, the master is away." I did see Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves recently. So he knocks on the door again. The door is answered, and the person realizes who it is, opens the door, lets him in, and there is a big production. One thing that you have found, Gabal, at least as far as his purported wealth is concerned, is telling the truth. This guy is very fucking rich, and you... or at least has all the trappings of it. Unless there's anything you specifically wish to do, we will cut directly to drinks with him. And with his lovely wife, Jamila. So, here is Gabal and his wife. Where are you, Jamila? Here we go. You need not make a roll for it. Both are Shemite names. So they seem to have been related. She comes in and she says, "Husband, what happened? You were to be gone for, I thought, for 2 more months. And he says, I would have been gone longer if not for these brave warriors." She asks, "What?" And very quickly leads into the, sorry, Jamila. There you go.
Oh. Damn.
Sorry, I should have put the name down.
That's all right. I failed my spell check and my will save at the same time.
So, Jamila, after hearing the story, says to you two, the blessings of Anu and Bel upon you both. Thank you for keeping my husband safe, and a night of Namedia, so far from home.
Yes, I am. I've been traveling, and we stumbled upon your husband's plight, and we're glad to assist him.
As Gabal is trying to both cram food and wine in his mouth at the same time, he then says, "That one is a scholar. He would learn." And she looks. You are a student.
That I am. Gabal tells me that you have a great deal of knowledge in some of these matters.
Would that I had a copper for every compliment my husband showers on me. We would be twice as wealthy. He kind of waves a pheasant leg at her as if like, no. And she says, "My knowledge is modest, but I have had the privilege of some education. What is it you wish to learn here? What do you know of our fine city?"
We know about the trade and commerce here and the wealth. That is obvious. I think beyond that, we are not as familiar with its history. But personally, my interest lies in learning more about the elements and some of the sorcery that's related to controlling it.
Weather witches and the sort?
Yes.
There are, within the city, you will find several groups of learned men and women. The Asu are those who heal people and help with injuries, ailments, and other afflictions. There are the Ashipu, who are exorcists. They deal with demons that infect others and afflict them with ill humors. There are the Baru, diviners and sources of knowledge, largely in combating the demons that afflict us, but some with weather and with forecasting fortuitous timing of significant endeavors, trade caravans, marriages, and such. And then there are those among the pastoral Shem, the Pelishtim. The Pelishtim have a variety of knowledges. They, I believe, have some sway over the weather, or so they would say.
Perhaps the Halishtim would be a good place to start.
I'll give you here's the name for all of them. There's the Asu, the Ashipu, the Baru, and the Pelishtim. My husband's wealth affords great influence over the city. I can arrange for an introduction to one such individual. Gabal kind of nods as he's chewing. He's unable to get his any words out through food and drink. And she says, "Perhaps Sir Geba?" And his face kind of screws up. He says, when he finally swallows down the giant mouthful of food he has, almost emphasizing the difficulty of swallowing what his wife proposes. Sir Geba is a swindler. And Jamila says, "You owe these men thanks for your life." The blessings of Baru, the blessings of Bel will pass upon you then. I will make inquiries. You will have your introduction to Zargeba. It says, and Jamila then looks at Hakon. And you, are you likewise a student of the esoteric Northman?
Don't know what esoteric is, but I'm definitely not a student of it.
And
I'm
you are
more
not
a student of watered wine, lamb shanks, and fine spices on my food.
So I've heard of your kind. I've not met a Northman before. It's not true that you eat your kind, is it?
Huh?
And Gabal is like, woman, forgive me. He's coughing. She has her eyes fixed on you. She genuinely wants to know, is it true that you're cannibals?
Not that I've ever heard.
I thought the tales exaggerated in that respect, but tell me, Hakon, is it true that a northerner values their weapons over all others?
Depends on the time of day, but yes, they are valuable.
Then, you may be aware of this. And Gabal kind of like, some food catches in his throat because he seems to know where his wife's mind is going. You may be aware that steel from the smiths of Akbatana, is the finest to be found in all the known world.
Yes, it's fabled where I come from. It's like God created it. The gods have left it behind somewhere and discovered by man, all kinds of crazy stories. To see it actually smithed, that would be intriguing.
Are you a smith yourself? You struck me as one skilled in wielding such weapons, not forging them.
I don't think he is.
No, he's not. Not at all.
No, I'm just curious. Knowing where a blade comes from and the quality of it, you know how much you can trust it, how much weight you can throw behind it before it breaks in someone's skull.
I think you will find that you will be hard-pressed to find a skull on which you could break Akbatanian steel. And there's almost a pleading look in Gebel's face right now of like... And Jamila then says, I would say, though, that our smiths are unaccustomed to forging blades of such a size as I saw you bring with you. It would indeed have to be custom forged. A singular blade for a singular warrior. Wouldn't you
things
agree,
are
husband?
bigger in the north.
Oh, most indeed. That is most evident. And
He doesn't flex, but he doesn't let down. So,
she looks at Gabal. Would you not say, husband, that such a treasured gift would truly express one's thanks? And he swallows even harder than before. As in all things, wife, you are most wise and very, very generous. Good. And perhaps, Hakon, you will accept our offer of hospitality while that gift is forged. And in the time, Sir Isidore, we can introduce you to those who might expand your knowledge.
That would be great. I must inquire as well that eventually, as our stay in your fine city comes to an end, we should look to head south towards warmer pastures. Is there a route or a provider that you would recommend that me and my friend may use?
Oh, most certainly. You have business in the Black Kingdom. If you wouldn't call it the Black Kingdom, you have business in Stygia. Jamila's eyes kind of narrow, and she looks at you. She says, "You truly are in search of dangerous lore, then."
Are we? Hakon looks up at us. Can we just stay here a while? It's nice. The food. They're giving me a nice sword.
I think that Isidore is only implying that we will want to remain in the warmer climates as we and continue southward in the future, but not imminently.
I think Hakon gives you a look like you don't need to bring it up.
We are quite comfortable here for now.
Yeah, the Nordheimer in general, the Aesir and the Vanir have kind of that like Viking or Norse approach to fate as well too. You know, do what you want, fate will find you. You know, you're gonna die when you're gonna die. So, I mean, Hakon wishes to postpone it by not rushing into snow necessarily, but doom, and whether that doom means his ultimate fate, or perhaps something, or his death, or perhaps something even worse, is another question. But Hakon has many ports to sail and many pleasures to enjoy before that time comes.
Over many sessions.
So, with that, is there anything else you guys do? You have this beautiful view of it wouldn't be the domed city you see, but there is where Gabal has his home is right near one of the large lagoons that cuts the middle of one of those caravan districts. It is unfortunately also where they keep a lot of fish in it too, so there is definitely a smell of fresh fish and water in here. But it is a lovely and definitely a better meal than you had yesterday.
As long as the water's not frozen and not falling from the sky, we're okay.
I would say we're in a much better position today than we've been in many.
Indeed.
You can't think of the last time. These may be some of the softest beds on which you've ever laid. It's hard to remember because usually when you're on such beds, you're usually so staggeringly drunk that you can barely recall the experience.
I think tonight I might not drink much at all, just so I can take it all in.
Then the food alone.
I'm going to stop at 7 drinks tonight.
I think Sir Isidore may exceed that number because I believe he would be reminded of, and maybe looking at his worn clothing and comparing it to his surroundings, the luxury that he now finds himself in, and reminded of what he left and where he could be. So I think that he's drowning some of those thoughts right now as he over imbibes in their hospitality.
So what do we see if we cut? For guys, first off, is there anything else you guys wish to discuss? Jamila is happy to arrange entertainment for you as well, of whatever variety that you prefer. She insists that if it is of the female companion variety, she assures you that the maidens who are offered were only barely rejected as virgins for the Temple of Ishtar. So you have a very luxurious evening. Anything else you guys wish to bring up or discuss?
I'm good for now.
Nope.
Then, as evening passes, Hakon, how unusual is it for Sir Isidore to be the one who is being carried by you into bed?
I think this is probably only happened in the entire time that we've traveled together. It's probably only happened like one other time, and yeah, it's usually the opposite. Usually he's dragging my big frame around and trying to get me into bed, and I'm just like, all right, maybe the belt, the hell with it. Just pushes him into bed and is like, you can sleep in your clothes and figure it out tomorrow.
And what is Sir Isidore like this deep in his cups this late at night?
I think he's murmuring to himself a little bit and almost combining his memories with his ambitions of learning more from the Pelishtim.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's kind of speaking a little bit about his shallow knowledge that he has of some of the sorcery that he's hoping to learn more about, and being pretty vocal about that. But otherwise, I think also, again, he's reminded by and looking at his worn clothing, realizing that Hakan, we still have a lot to do. We have a lot to achieve. We are not done yet.
So, Hakan, anything you wish to before you lay in for the evening?
I think Hakan is just like, yes, we'll discuss it in the morning when we break our fast. And yes, we'll achieve great things, just not tonight. Tonight you need to get some sleep.
So, based on the, because I'm adding, realize I forgot to add one image. I'm fairly certain I forgot to add one image. Just quickly.
So,
go ahead.
I don't know. They give us a room to share, or
yeah, it's a huge thing. Like, you have enough. It's like enough space for you to be in one room, Sir Isidore, and Hakan, you to be in another if you choose to.
Yeah, I think Hakan probably tries the soft bed for a bit, and then he reminds himself why he doesn't like sleeping in fancy places, because it's way too soft and he's never going to be able to fall asleep.
Yeah.
So he'll just like grab some of the blankets, and blankets on the floor will be enough to, not be cold, and he'll just sleep on the floor somewhere nearby.
There is one thing too, in especially in the summer in Shem, like now, it is not cool. Like it's quite warm all year round. There is also the smell of fish. Like it's curious because there is the smell of fish that kind of hangs in the air, not pungent, but enough to, like, when the wind hits just right, it comes from one of the fishmongers areas. It'll pass in, and it gives you a little hint of what your life has been as a pirate for the last several years, but it doesn't have that reek of a harbor. It's not that rotten, salty smell. It's just fish.
Yeah, it's missing something.
Yeah, and unusually, in spite of his ample consumption of, did Hakan spend 2 fate already?
Yep.
Oh, nice. I'm going to make that commission by the end. Guys, I'm going to make my commission, and I'm going to make my bonus for narrative metacurrencies by the end of the year. It's great. What you find is, in spite of the amount of liquor consumed by Sir Isidore, it's actually Hakan who has a unusual dream. Hakan, how often is it that you dream of your snow-filled and mountain-dominated homeland?
I think on a regular basis, it's maybe only like once every couple of months. But there might be triggers that would cause it to surface again. Certain elements, if he's been in a real good scrap, or if he's had a really boisterous night out, those kinds of elements put him in the right frame of mind to have.
And what is it? Is it when he dreams of it, is it the harsh winters? Is it the brittle brightness of winter? Is it the overcast skies that he so rarely sees in the southern lands when a storm is not coming. What is it about his homeland?
I think it's the overcast skies and the constant feel of chill. Unless you're like right in front of a stoked fire, it's like there's always this lingering chill ready to creep in from somewhere.
So that is the chill that you feel. I want you to picture a hill in your homeland covered by very low scrub grass in the late spring. Chill enough that there is still a reminder that winter has not yet fully released its grasp. But there is no snow on the ground. There are, however, countless pale blue blossoms that fill this field. And you are standing here alone, dressed as you were in your day. A field you have known well, but this has never happened. You know for certain you've never stood in a petal-filled field on your own. Even before your doom came to you, Hakon Doomwinter, you were not one for lingering in pretty fields. But you know this place. What do you think that is? Is there an association with it? Did you fight a battle here? Did you break a heart here? Did you bury a kinsman here?
Definitely the latter.
And who was buried here?
Would have been my brother. Older brother. One that was going to carry on the family legacy.
And standing here in this field with... It is not shrouded in these blue petals because, like the people, the grass that grows here is very hardy, but it is not populous. So it is only these shoots coming up with the pale blossoms that only show for a brief, maybe week, before fading into the what passes for a Nordheimer or an icier summer. Where do you think you are standing? Are you where he was buried? Can you see it nearby?
I think he's buried near a weird set of boulders off to the side of the hill near the top, which we used to play at when we were kids. And
cast down by frost giants, no doubt.
Oh, for sure. That's what we always believe.
So you can see that up there. And you see a small form. With a heavy cloak, small, child-sized. Most definitely not your brother, who sounds like he was fully grown when he passed. And not one of the older folk who are said to haunt these hills. As if wanting to know who it is, or it sensing what you may be asking. Who is it that disturbs my brother's rest, or who plays near my brother's tomb? She pulls back her hood enough to see her face. And while she appears to be an Aesir girl, maybe 10, 12 years of age, there's something curious. Blue eyes, very common among the Aesir and the Vanir. All Nordheimers see it. They run the gamut from pale blue, like a winter sky, to deep blue, like the full dusk in summer. She has green eyes. You've never seen this girl before. And you see, she has some of the blue blossoms set in her braided hair.
Strange.
And you have no other time to contemplate that because you awaken. And the chill that you felt remains. You are in the shadows here, but it is very warm in this room. And more disconcerting to the chill, the pale blue blossoms that sit scattered around your crumpled bed linen are most definitely real. Sir Isidore.
Is it morning?
It is morning, yeah.
Well, you don't need to wake him because I'm going to wake him.
Okay. So Isidore, Sir Isidore, would you give us a fortitude save, please?
Sure.
Let's see how the morning after is treating you.
Might be a little rough.
It is. So tell us, how does Hakon wake up Sir Isidore?
I think he grabs the flowers in one hand and then he runs over and he like starts shaking them. He's like, "Hey, you got to tell me about these. Wake up! This like wild-eyed barbarian is hovering over you.
I think at this point you're not certain how best to feel better, Sir Isidore, but being shaken by an agitated Northman is definitely not the way to do it. What do you do?
As he kind of sits up, he's squinting and, barely kind of looking at Hakon just enough to realize it's him. What are you going on about? It's too early. Flowers?
From my dreams, man. From my dreams.
We're in a rich merchant's home. Of course there are flowers around. What is peculiar about these flowers?
These are definitely, I think you might call them Emir's tears. Tears of a frost giant.
These are Emir's tears. These are from my homeland. They don't grow anywhere in the warmth.
Sir Isidore, you can give us a geography check, knowledge. I'm not going to keep saying knowledge, whatever else. I take it you know what I mean when I say whatever you're looking for. So he's not wrong, Sir Isidore. You're looking at it, and just at a glance, you can tell, like, yes, that's that kind of, flower. Certainly, you've never seen anything like it. South of the Bessonian Marches.
It's odd. And you say you saw something before this? What did you see, Hakon?
Well, it was... Guess now you want to know details. Damn it. It's a hill where we buried my brother. And there was a girl with strange eyes.
Hakon, have you ever dreamed of that hill before?
No. The hill where my brother has been, where we laid my brother to rest. And not a place I've been since I was a child, nor dreamt about since I left my homeland. And upon this hill was a peculiar young woman, child, 10, maybe 11, blonde hair, and eyes like you would not see in the north, green like emeralds.
Sir Isidore, you can give us an Arcana check if you like. Oh, and incidentally, one of the ways I'm handling knowledge checks in this stuff is that there's always going to be, if you got training in it, there's always a baseline of knowledge you're going to get. How well you roll. Holy fuck! We'll tell you how much you know. A 31, for instance, is an awful fucking lot. So,
yeah, 'cause, that's why we hang together.
Absolutely. Sir Isidore, this is where his benefits of his unnatural studies comes to bear fruit. Unholy fruit. What you would know, Sir Isidore, obviously dreams can be portentous of things, but dreams where there is physical manifestation, that suggests a potent sorceress link. There are times when gods or creatures acting for them, demons or other spirits, would manifest such a connection or have some kind of thing, but typically it is a potent ritual that is manifested by a lot of people working together for it, or some very specific a very specific working, a miracle, literally. That doesn't seem to be the case here. In which case, there might be something. Either Hakon has divinatory abilities that he has heretofore not told you about and you've never witnessed, or something is working its will on him. And it is doing it in such a way as to work what sorcery does, which is the impossible made real. I will tell you, on the mechanics side, one of the ways that you can learn sorcery in the Hyborian world and in this game specifically is from a powerful magical entity, demons, spirits, and so forth. It does require bargaining with them, and it does not come without a cost. But if something is able to do such a powerful thing, reach back through his memory and target his mind at a specific place, and then bring those dreams into reality, now that would be a potent tutor indeed.
See, well, Hagen, this is most unnatural, of course, but I don't know what the link would be as to why you would see this now and you've never seen this before. And with that, I think Sir Isidore will pick up one of the petals and say, this is something we may need to ask the Pelishtim about.
It still seems almost, it's not wet, but it is still damp with the first dew of morn. And it has a scent. It's as if they were brought from Hakon's homeland to here, or his at least memory of it. Whatever did this is quite potent. Now, as far as what to do, mechanically wise, what you could do is avail yourself of a diviner. Perhaps a diviner might be able to, at a cost, detect what is going on with Hakon, what has afflicted him, if anything. Do you share any of this with Hakon about what you think might have happened to him?
No, I think Isidore right now, having been awoken so suddenly and still processing this, doesn't want to further his thoughts on it, so he's going to say, this it's most unusual, but this is an unusual place, and I'm sure we will learn from this. I will help you learn from this.
Jamila did say that, like, exorcists and diviners both seem to be studying the demons that bedevil them.
Yeah, I will mention to Isidore or to Haken that I believe we should seek out a diviner who can help us learn more about this. But for now, there may be other corners of the city we need to see.
Haken, how are you feeling about this, having dreamt about your brother's grave for the first time?
I think he's a little melancholy, a little forlorn. He hasn't. He's just been escaping his homeland for so long. He's been not thinking about it in ways that matter. You know, it's only like, you know, references to snow and types of drink and things like that. Very surface level stuff. He's stayed away from thinking about family, thinking about his brother, and anything that would really, you know, drive home that he's been away for so long.
Okay. So as you guys are getting yourselves ready, Sir Isidore, you're not as badly off. Like a 13 fortitude save is not terrible, but you're certainly not feeling, you know, in fighting form, as it were.
Hakon will go get you a pitcher of water and pour you a cup. It's like, sorry for waking you. So, yeah.
It's okay, Haken. It's okay. I think this is the first thing I've smelled that doesn't have the reek of fish on it.
So
in that, you're right.
What do you guys at breakfast? Jabal seems to have a lot of business that will keep him busy today, dealing with the loss of all those profits. Your home is, their home is given as your own. You are going to be welcome to come and go as you wish for as long as you wish. It seems as Jamila has jumped at the chance to get things going, and there is a great sword being commissioned for you, Haken. This is what she shares over breakfast. What do you have?
Haken's already thinking he wants to go see what the Smiths do.
Okay.
I think Sir Isidore would accompany him, actually. He would be interested to see the craftsmanship and also to stay with Haken, knowing, you know, I don't believe Haken is normally in this type of mood. And even though I'm not feeling myself, I can see that he probably, I need to stay with him for now just to make sure his head is right.
One might say that you have gigantic mirths and gigantic melancholies, Haken.
You know it.
So then it is the two of you who set out, and Jamila gives you a handful of silver coins for spending money in the event that you need to. And let me show you what the teeming streets of Akbatana are like.
We'll be in our own garb now. None of this dressing like Cabal.
Yeah. You certainly would not be out of place carrying your weaponry with you as well. The streets of Akbatana. Okay, this is actually, hold on, that's actually probably not right, because it is not so many mud-daubed buildings. Here we go. I think this is probably a more accurate one. Actually, let's go back to the gates. I really dig that one. Here we go. Long trip, guys, to get back to the streets here. You will see more of those Asurhai guards definitely making their way through the streets. It seems as if they may be a form of city watch in Akbatana as well. Where is it you wish to go first? She has set up a meeting for you with Zargeba. But Zargeba is as a Pelishtan wise man. his specialty is not necessarily going to be divination. It is the Baru, who are the divining specialists.
I think, first, I thank you for the meeting with Zargeba. I very much want to learn from him, but there is something else that we were wondering if maybe we could meet with the Baru, someone who could help us divine something.
Indeed. Plans for the future, perhaps.
Yeah.
I think Hakon tries not to look obvious, but he's a bit sheepish right now.
And it is, having viewed his brother's tomb, Hakon, I feel that is worthy of a fate point.
Good,
What
I
do
can
you...
flounder through some more rolls.
What, yeah, she says is that there is a Baru named Noam. I know him well, and I will be happy to make arrangements for you to meet with him as well.
That's wonderful. I can't thank you enough. I think me and my friend will maybe check out the forge first to see the beginnings of his master weapon, and then perhaps meet with him before Zargeba.
The sword districts are teeming with craftsmen. I will send one of our household to bring you to the smith working on them. And she looks at you, Hakon. We have arranged for one of the finest smiths on offer. To forge something of such length is an unusual task. The expertise of this master craftsman, we think, will be more than suitable. Eban is his name. I'll give you the names here. Baru, his name is Noam. And the smith is Eban. So that's who you'll be meeting with. Anything else you wish to discuss at breakfast, or do you head out?
I think Hakon's trying to pick up some of their customs, so he's trying to blend in with when to bow and when to gesture, and he's probably not doing a great job, but it's heartfelt.
What I can tell you, so one of the uses of fate points is to make minor alterations to the story. So if you wish that Hakon actually has, either been familiar with, or he had, he could speak Shem or Shemitic, this is what those are for. It's in the rulebook. It especially calls out a language they speak that they didn't know before.
I think, you know what, maybe I'll correct that then. So maybe he's not struggling. He doesn't have to major change, but yeah, it's quite possible in his pirating days that he's, been along with a Shem pirate or something like that, and he's learned some of their customs. So maybe he's not floundering. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe he's able to bow and gesture and show his goodwill probably more naturally to this family than other places in the world where he might travel. Yeah, maybe
it's Sir Isidore, if you're suddenly seeing this transformation, it may have been that the guy you sailed with, you thought he was Gothic, and then you're like, oh wait, no, he's fucking, oh no, I do know this. And now that you're hearing them speak to servants in Shemitic, so you can add Shemitic to your language, so you'll be able to speak fluently with them. So what, and that's so that is, I spoke before we started the session, I mentioned to the guys that there are two house rules that we're playing with fate points. That is not one of them. That's one of the rules as written, which is pretty cool for a game that came out in 2003. So before we take our mid-session break, let's talk about the markets or the forges, I should say, of Akbatana. It is, if you were thinking of, well, I really don't know what you guys were thinking of necessarily for when you're viewing them, but if you were thinking one organized or regimented kind of like cooperative thing where people are working in some kind of like warehouse type situation, that is genuinely not the case here. There are forges that are set up everywhere, and different people who are working in different ways, and blacksmiths who are yelling at one another for, for trying to get too close to others, or it is definitely not unsafe, and everybody seems to be taking their work very seriously. It is just that these run the gamut from mom and pop shops of one individual working with, one or two smiths to larger operations where you have 4 or 5 forges operating at the same time. It is staggering to think of the wealth that is here, because any one of these blades could be worth thousands of silver coins. They are invaluable, and you see people negotiating with some of the blacksmiths. You see people creating up things to head off to some conflict in some far off place. Gifts that are being forged for master, for other nobles elsewhere in the empire. And the way the blades are being forged, it's not as if the Akbatanian smiths are making their kind of blade and waiting for people to accept it. What they are making, the Akbatanian native blades are a little similar to the crescent swords, the kopashes favored by warriors from Stygia, or even the sabers, the curved scimitars of some of the Turanian mounted warriors from the east. No, they're making all sorts of different things, and it is almost overwhelming on the senses when you combine it with the added heat and noise and smells of brimstone making your way through here. It is, I guess, first off, how are both of you taking this in?
I think for Hakan, it's, so we saw the ziggurat and he was like, oh yeah, no big deal. And the sheer number of smiths working in this area alone, and how they're all working differently but all crafting these marvelous weapons, I think is probably more enamoring to him than, like, his village had one smith. That was how the village worked. You didn't need more than 2 smiths. Like, well, why would you have a whole area, whole streets filled with smiths? It's just astounding. So yeah, he thinks that this place has got to be the most wealthy place that he's ever seen, because he's never seen so many smiths working in one place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sir Isidore, I think, is very impressed by the scale of it, and he's imagining now what the market itself must be like. I'm sure maybe we even saw part of the market from afar, and I think he's now more curious to explore that as well. If it's anything like this, it must be magnificent.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps it's the threat of razor sharp Akbatanian steel that keeps ne'er-do-wells at bay, but you don't even hear anyone shouting, get away from that, what are you doing? Everyone seems to be minding their manners. Until Hakan, you can hear someone shouts in Shemitic, "Get back here! Stop that girl!" And you look across the busy market, busy blacksmiths, and through the hellish smoke that hangs in the air, the first thing you see are around 10 guards, each dressed around like this. Average Shemitic heavies, likely hired by nobles, by merchants, or someone else with the money to pay for muscle. But that's not really what catches your attention and causes your heart to pull tightly in your chest. It is the young girl weaving through the chaos of the Akbatanian Sword District, running away from these 10 pursuers.
The girl from my dreams, man. He grabs Sir Isildur by the arm. He starts to run.
And we'll find out what happens next after our mid-session break. So we'll take a 5-minute break right now, guys, and then we'll find out what happens next. So for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. All right. So, let's set up some things. I think. We'll do a theater of the mind. We're already past, well past our halfway point. So let's. You guys can handle 10 guards, I imagine, right? I guess we'll find out.
On most days.
Oh, yeah, right?
Dragging me across town today, of all days.
What kind of night vomits? The dangerous kind.
Should have had some more hair of the dog.
All right, hold on. I think it's in. All right. Oh, so one thing I fucked up. The Peleshtim are a kind of, like a subculture of the Shemites. It's the Peleshtim wise men is who will, they'll refer you to. Just to avoid...
Was it still Zargeba?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Zargeba is still, the name. Okay. I mean, folks may have commented already, but in the event I get Howardian scholars giving me shit in comments or in the comment section of the video, this will save at least a little bit of that. What am I looking for? I know what I'm looking for. Where is it? Fang Dragon. No.
I'm sure you have that page marked.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Well, Warren.
Doesn't that just like the book naturally open up to
that page? Pressed in
some days, yep. God dang. That's Sam Woodward. Man, what I wouldn't give for a fucking poster with that on it. Oof. Apparently I am the president and a sole member of the Fang Dragon fan club, because it's hard to find even a high resolution copy of that illustration, but man, oh man, is it awesome. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is, as unfortunately, because of the sort of side they're on, you're not really going to reach them until they reach an alleyway that leads out from the sword district itself. But you can definitely picture yourself like racing past things, knocking over, half-made swords, kind of like jostling a smith as you're running through. And where is it here? So I'm looking at one of the Aquilonia book for it has a ton of great pre-made stats in it for a wide variety of things, and I thought, I was going to mark this before the session, and then I got distracted by something shiny. Here we go. This is what I want. Yes! All right. So, did I set this up properly? Hey, guys, I at least set up the token settings properly. So, while I'm setting this up, let you guys go ahead and give us some initiative checks. And I think if you click on your token, that macro might take care of it for you.
Yeah, that one worked
pretty good. Pretty good. I am not thinking this through. I need to make these guys a little smaller. I don't want them taking up the whole thing here. Wow, nicely done, hacking.
Well, hopefully it doesn't end there. Roll 20. It's Friday night. Remember that. It's a Friday night, roll 20.
Yeah. Here we go. All right. Whoop, the girl's moving as well. All right, so they are all racing around in kind of, Keystone Cop style. They're all piling into the alleyway, one after another. Why so many men for such a young girl is something that does enter your mind, Sir Isidore, based on your observations from before. That 32 or whatever it was that you rolled. There is still some thought. So let me give... okay, my rightmost one is going to be my initiative tracker. And I will resist the Brancalonia dice. Oh, man. Okay, I got a 13. Or 23 total. So they unfortunately are going to go first. But... oh, and then there's the girl. Let's see here. She's acting on a 12. Okay. So, after a brief race through this sword market, you get to a side alleyway. And this seems not to be one that is necessarily used. It is one that, by happenstance of the construction around the market itself, you know, Lord knows how old this market is and how long it's been here. You know that some of these Shemitic cities are almost as old as Stygia itself. So, tell us how. It looks like Hakon, you are the one who sees the rest of them go in. How do you approach the alleyway? Let's assume it'll be one movement to get to the end of the alleyway, and then like maybe one more move to get into range of these guys, if that's what you wish to do immediately. But what do you do?
Is there a stairway or something along the side before the alleyway, like to lead up to a second level? Because I think he wants to try and get some height advantage and come leaping in. Because that sounds very cool. Conan-esque.
It does, and I think why don't you give us a climb check, please?
Okay.
Let's see here. A pantherish leap onto the side. 27! Holy shit. What does it look like as you scramble up to, say, the first, story of this two-story building?
Yeah, I think it's... there isn't stairs, but there might as well have been stairs carved along the side. He just leaps from crate on top of cart and then carts to this little ledge that runs along the side, and it doesn't even break his stride.
Yeah. And any who would notice and otherwise take offense at the sudden, imposition, quickly silence themselves when they realize the burly and terrifying Northman who is causing the disturbance. That would be a move action. So if you scramble up and get to the side, are you trying to remain unseen?
No.
You don't mind if they see you?
Yeah.
So what would you like to do as a standard action then? Oh, Anna says hi. Hi, sweetie.
As a standard action, I think he is going to...
So, drawing weapons, because of your level and because of your base attack bonuses, if you make a move, you can do that as part of the move for free.
Right. So, when he gets to that last piece, he can draw his hand axe and his war sword, or even just the hand axe.
Sure. Not a hand axe. It's a battle axe. It's a full fuck off axe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This game makes a distinction between a hatchet, a battle axe, which is a two-handed kind of thing. There's also a two-handed Nordheimer axe in the game. It's bonkers. Anyway, I'm getting lost in fucking minutia. Yes, you can draw your
cool weaponry
axe out.
Okay. So,
what you can see, let me tell you what you see as you come around the corner. You can tell me what you'd like to do next, as your standard action, if anything. You can see it appears that this is a bit of a dead end. So buildings meet with buildings, so there is not an exit to this alleyway. It is a cul-de-sac, effectively, or a blind alley. What you see is somehow, though, the girl has almost taken after you in a way and has scrambled up and is kind of hanging. She's managed to ascend to a point where there is a very much these wooden struts you see poking out from the building here, the construction stuff. She's clambered up to one of those, but the other ones around it are broken. So she's hanging from here, or has like pulled herself up, and she cannot go any further. But all of them are on the ground. All of them are wearing leather jerkins. They have steel caps underneath those turbans, and they all have arming swords out. Get down, girl. You've nowhere to go. I don't know why they're suddenly fucking Scottish. They say.
I think he comes around the corner and sees this.
Yeah.
And realizes that charging in is the terrible idea. So he will, as a standard action, he'll try to like hide himself, or find a nook or a cranny where he can.
Yeah, give us a.
Continue.
Are you trying to move? If you're so high up, it's unlikely they would see you unless they hear you. So why don't you give us a move silently check?
Okay, yeah. And so he's going to use his standard action to move, but he's going to try to move silently.
Okay. Go right ahead.
Oh. What did I roll? Oh, a 3. That sounds very unheroic. So I'm going to re-roll that.
Fate point, you got it.
Because, silently, here we go. That's better.
That is pretty good. Okay. So I'm just checking their perception. Or their, listen. Okay. So, you are on the roof, and none of them seem to have looked up at you. She is on the far side of where you are. And then she is there. She has nothing to do, unfortunately. Sir Isidore. It would be a move. You've seen Hakon leap up and scramble to the roof, or to the like an overhang between the first level and second level.
Yeah, I think Sir Isidore is going to be looking around for either some livestock, perhaps horses, something that he can use to stir them up and cause a distraction, to either distract some of the guards or obstruct some of the guards. If there's no livestock or anything, maybe there's like an awning or something that he could target to try to get it to fall and obstruct them, so they don't have a clear view to the girl somehow.
Yeah, give us a well, if you want to spend a fate point and alter the scene
I think
a bit.
So. Yeah, I think so. I think that there's an awning that sits between where the girl hangs and the guards stand, and Sir Isidore wants to knock the awning over to where it will push the guards back, that they're having to at least get out of its way, or else they'll be knocked.
And are you trying to what is the sort of effect you're looking for here? Is it to distract them from the girl and have the focus on you, or?
I think to obstruct as many of them as possible. So maybe if I could get some of them to be obstructed by it, so that they're no longer engaged with the girl.
Yeah, let's do this. I'll say, here's what we're going to do. Why don't you give us so you charge in, you see this, and then I'm guessing as a part of your move, that broadsword of yours is out. Mm-hmm. Do you have your shield out, or do you have your...
No, he'll have his knife and shield out.
Okay, because you got two weapon fighting.
Knife and sword out.
Yeah, okay, so the Ganata blade incidentally is a curved kind of like almost, what do they call it? Oh gosh, it's not a Gurkha, it's a carved...
A kukri, kinda?
Yeah, sort of,
kukri.
Similar to that. Mm-hmm. So you've got that out, you see them. Why don't you give us a attack roll with your broadsword, and we'll treat it as a grappling check. Because you'll target in the game, there is a grappling defense, which is 10 plus their base attack bonus plus a strength, I think.
So let's see. On the sheet, there's a crit damage roll or a damage roll.
So the attack is actually next to melee. There isn't individual attacks for each of the weapons. You just roll a melee attack, because it's usually going to be around the same.
Got it. Oh my goodness.
Hold on. That might have been +4. Oh, you rolled a 4. Wait, hold on. Because your
Should I have rolled it as
melee should be a
grappling?
+7. Hold on. Let's make sure something's not wrong on the sheet. Because your basic melee attack should be a +7. Your broadsword should be +9. Okay, so that's correct. First strength, medium, within range. Let's give you a +2 here, because you're using your broadsword with which you have weapon focus, and as a Nemedian, you have a cultural bonus to your using swords as well. So let's see if this. Yeah. So why don't you give us another melee ranged finesse attack? Nat 20, baby! Holy smokes! I had in my mind there's gonna be 4 of them. All 4 are currently grappled, so they will need to free themselves from this. So I'll set these, or I'll put them closer to you. So these 4 here are now caught. Then it is guard's turn. The 2 of them are going to be focusing on getting her down. They're beginning to pick up stones from the ground and are throwing them at her, trying to get her to fall. 4 of the ones that are not in there look over and see only you. Ah! And first thing they'll do, actually, is they're going to try and do a group demoralize against you. They look at you. This is not your concern, outsider. And this will be against, I think it's against your will. Let me double check here. Intimidation. And unfortunately, because they are chumps, this will have to be their action for the round. They cannot. Here we demoralize. So would you give us a 1d20? Let's see here. Isidore, your wisdom bonus is 0. 1d20 plus 6, please. And if you have any bonuses against fear, they get to be added to this, and it's just contested by theirs. So I got a total of... oh, they are bullies. 23. So, Sir Isidore, give us a 1d20 plus 6 plus whatever bonuses you might have against fear. I don't think you have any, actually.
Yeah, I was just double checking. I didn't see anything specific for fear.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't see anything like that. So, okay, here goes.
Go ahead. Come on. So, pretty good. It is a fail, but what all that means is... you are shaken for the round. You realize that these 4 men absolutely mean lethal business from the way that they are threatening. They are still keeping a respectable distance from you. But apart from the -2 to attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws, you can otherwise act however you like. So that's what those 4 did. The other 4 are going to try and free themselves here. Let's see. Those are not great rolls. So 2 of them have managed to cut themselves free. The other 2 are still well and truly caught in the awning. And then, yeah, there's the 2 throwing stones at the girl. Nat 20. Whack! The girl loses grips on one of her things, and she's hanging from only one region right now, or one hand. Hakon, what are you doing?
Coming off mute, and
It's the quietest barbarian around.
yeah, it's funny. His doing his voice similar to Druin just on purpose is ruining the hell out of my throat.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. I planned it out all week, so I was like, all right, here we go.
Nice.
So yeah, move will be a move and jump,
Okay.
and then it's leaping attack, power attacking onto a dude.
Might I point something out? There is a combat maneuver.
This is a combat maneuver.
That happens to involve swinging that will allow you to move past without incurring any attacks of opportunity as you swing away.
You know what? Since I'm on the second floor and this is a merchant area, and there's got to be like, pulleys and ropes and things like that for raising stuff to the second level, I think I'm just gonna grab one of those ropes and swing on through.
100% agree with that. So but
I don't have any fate points to use.
You don't need to do that in this. That's a reasonable extrapolation. This is theater of the mind, so that's definitely reasonable. So you grab that. Why don't you? I don't think you need to make any rolls whatsoever. You just need to have
You start your move hanging from an object.
So you'll leap and grab it. That's fine with me.
Yeah, initiate a bull rush that does not provoke attack of opportunity and adds +1 for every 5 feet you move. Probably like 15 or...
Yeah, it's got to be 15 feet. Swing it down towards him.
Yeah.
And which is it? Hit the ones that are throwing stones?
No, the ones that are coming up on Sir Isildur, who don't know I'm up on the second level.
Okay. Yeah! Nice.
They're doing all this threatening stuff, and I'm like, oh, I got some news for you, fellas.
You succeeded in your thing, so they're flat-footed too, so that means it's a 10. They cannot dodge or parry against your attack. One thing I'll remind as well, it's not on the printed character sheet, because when my last computer crashed, I didn't have the Word version work on, but you have Cleave as well, which works just like it does in 3.5. So that is, that's more than 10. So that is a solid hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
With my axe?
And hold on, does it do extra damage with the maneuver? Yeah, just click on your axe. And where is it here? Swing and attack. Oh yeah, it does +3 damage.
Dealing 1d6 non-lethal damage? No. I'm not making a trip.
That's if you're doing a trip attack.
No. So it's just +1 for every 5 feet you move.
Oh, that's the bull rush.
Make a melee attack with +1 and suffering no attack of opportunity.
That's the benefit. Yeah, the melee attack with +1 is what we're doing. So just go ahead and roll damage. Let's see here. What is there?
Still pretty awesome.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
9 points of damage.
Okay, so what I will tell you, just so for your edification with the game, they are wearing leather jerkins, which give them DR5. However, your armor piercing with your axe is a 5, which means you sink this into its side. And it was one of the ones facing him. And then where is it you wish to end up? You could make Here's what I'm going to do, Kev. This is something we talked about earlier.
Yeah. So I'm going to swing down and attack with the axe and just leave it embedded in the guy.
So that actually needs to be a...
to the hilt? I have to be
you have to call it to the hilt maneuver. You can only use one maneuver at a time.
That's fine.
But that's a great great reminder of what that does.
Okay, so then I'll just swing at the guy, and then I'll, without any attacks of opportunity, swing past them and let go of the rope. And
you know what, Dave, if you want, fuck it, this is our first time playing Conan. If you want to, that's higher, the dice roll that you rolled is higher than your strength bonus. If you want to leave it stuck in him like, God, I'm fine with that.
Sure. I'm just going to leave my axe stuck in this guy, and I'm going to let go of the rope on the far side near the guys that are throwing stones.
I will tell you, too, the to the hilt maneuver is one expressly requested by one viewer. They wanted to see it at the table, so there you go.
I love it. I read it. I'm like, oh my God, I got to try this.
Yeah, I was teeing it up. I was teeing it up next to.
Nice. Yeah. All right, so this guy is... Well, now, hold on. To the hilt needs to be on an unarmored target, though. That is the only... difference, right? So for this one time, fuck it. Well, we know that it needs to be, but you've got that off. Where do you want to land? Are you going to try and release, or are you going to swing up to somewhere else?
I'm going to swing past them and land beyond them, closer probably to the guys that are throwing stones who have no clue that there's this raging Northman behind them.
Okay, I'll put them, or I'll maneuver their tokens a little higher here, so it looks like they're kind of closer to you. All right, so that was terrifying for them. The girl's going to need to make a save. She's not able to get the other arm up. She's kind of like, trying to grab up, but she's only got one hand hanging right now. Sir Isidore, what are you doing?
So, I have a question about the Sundering Parry. It says that you would get a Sundering Attempt as a free action. What does that
So a Sundering Attempt is you make an attack, basically you make a attack roll against their parry, and if you succeed, then you get to roll damage from your weapon on their weapon. So this is where, you might break it, you might not. If you're particularly strong, or if you're using like your power attack to take a penalty to gain extra damage on it, that might sufficiently break it. Certain weapons are more vulnerable. Like every weapon has different hardness and whatnot. And if you happen to be wielding something that is made of Acpadanian steel, or if you've got the improved Sunder ability, you get plus. Well, it doesn't affect the damage; it's just a 4, plus 4 to the check, but. Yeah, like Sunder works best when you're using big fuck off weapons or you're using 2 hands on something. When you use 2 hands on something, you get to add 1.5 your strength bonus instead of 1. And when you use your power attack with it, normally you take a penalty and you add whatever the penalty is to your damage with a one-handed weapon. With a 2-handed weapon in this game, you add double what your penalty is.
Okay.
So if you're going to Sunder, that's a long way of saying if you're going to Sunder, best chance of doing it is with a two hands on your broadsword, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is probably not a great move in this spot for me. I'm thinking... I think that
that's the guy with the axe in his back.
I need to continue to draw them away, and so I'd like to try to get the 4 that are coming at me now.
Yep.
And I think I've just got to kind of parry here and get myself in a defensive position.
Okay. So like combat expertise, baby?
Yeah, combat expertise.
Okay, so combat expertise is you can take. What do you want to take for your penalty to add to your defense?
I guess. What can I do up to 4?
Yep.
Is it or yeah? I'll go to 4.
All right.
Here.
So if you want to use a move action to close in, it's not an action at all to use your combat expertise. You can still make an attack with your broadsword or with your Ganada knife.
I will. I'll try the broadsword here towards one of them.
Okay. And your AP with that is a 6, so you're getting right through their armor. 16 on their parry. He tries to parry, does not succeed. Go ahead and roll damage. Come on, big money. Oof. Nasty gash on him. This isn't the one who has an axe in his back. And that is it, Sir Isidore. Then it is their turn. All right, so and you would have taken -2 to hit because of your demoralized, but you still hit. Your steely resolve is more than their attempts to try and intimidate you. Hakon, would you give us a 1d4 roll, please? So the guy, the axe in his back, tries to stagger forward to get Sir Isidore, and then just hits the ground with it still planted well and truly in his back. The other 2 are going to charge in with their arming swords. So Sir Isidore, your parry is currently a 19. And you get to choose on each attack. You can choose whether you use a parry or an attack. I'll tell you one other cool thing that I forgot to mention before. So one of the other ways you can get through armor by just using full muscle, which both of you guys are quite good at. The other way to get through it, if you're using a finesse weapon or a light, I think it's either a finesse weapon or a light weapon or both, you can choose to use your it's finesse. You can use your dexterity as your bonus to hit instead of your strength. You don't need a feat to do that in this game. And if you beat their defense by an amount equal to their armor piercing, you found a nick in it and got through. So like this is how, you know, master dagger wielders or knife wielders are able to take down Nemedian knights. Is skill, not just, or luck. All right, so these guys come in, and
but not in back alleys in Shem, though.
Not in back alleys in Shem. There is only hired goons and the will to live, and these guys are trying to rob Sir Isidore of that. All right, so the first
for a second there, I thought you were helping us, and then you said that's how master knife wielders take down Nemedian knights, and I'm like, wait a second, are you talking about Jamie?
All right, so the first one, let's see here. I have not a great chance to hit here, actually. Okay, so they come in. But they have numbers.
Yeah.
And that is where they get the advantage. So I got +5 total to hit you. I need an 11 or higher. No, I need a 14 or higher. Madison, quit cheating. Okay. 3 charge in. They're arming swords drawn. And if you ever needed evidence of the difference between one who uses bullying and blades as a tactic and one who has experienced training at the hands of the best swordsman in Nemedia, one only need to look at the exchange between Sir Isidore and these as you batter them aside as if they are nothing. Even your Ganata knife catches one of the blades, sends it aside, and you shove them off balance as they push away. There are 2 others who have caught themselves out of the awning. I think they're going to join the fracas with Sir Isidore. So we have 5 men on Sir Isidore right now. Is it Friday night already? That's weird. Then, let's see here, +2 more, +7. I need a 12 or higher. One of them manages to get through. Your armor is a 5. Their AP is a 3. So you still get the benefit of 2 armor from this. As steel comes through. 4 points of damage reduced to 2 with your armor. So Sir Isidore, you take 2 points of damage. That mailed shirt makes its value seen once again. The other 2 are still caught in the awning. They cannot get themselves out. And then the others who were bullying the girl, they turn to you, Hakon, and they charge in. You have no weapon out right now, so you need to dodge. So your dodge is a 16, I believe. Yep. All right, so I need a 13 or higher to hit you. No, I need a 12 or higher because they outnumber you. One of them comes dangerously close, Hakon. But this is not the first time you've seen cowards come and attack you armed when you have nothing but your mighty fists. That is it for the guards. Hakon, what are you doing?
Think he is going to draw his greatsword because we're in an alley and there's lots of room.
Yep.
So it's greatsword off the back and
go right ahead.
Give it a swing.
Anything? So you wish to power attack at all? Do you wish to make use of any? I was asking questions still, so we're not going to count that yet. Do you wish to? Because just as a reminder, there are things like to the hilt. You could use.
Don't those require fate points to use?
No, not at all. You can use them whenever you want. Oh, you know what? But you can't use to the hilt because they're armored. That's why.
Right. Yeah. So what was the? It was just that one thing at the beginning of the list that you need a fate point for?
No, none of them you need fate points. The reason I mentioned fate points is because some of them have feat requirements that you guys don't have. And the adaptive maneuvers rule that we're using, you can spend a fate point.
Adaptable tactics requires a fate point. That's where I got confused.
Yeah, no, that's all you need.
So just that first section of fate points on our handout. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, no, the combat maneuver is not at all. So you could like fatigue and exhaust the foe.
Okay.
You could try grapple and make use of a human shield. You do need to spend a fate point there because it's improved grapple, but
yeah, I don't have him crew. I'm just going to strike.
Okay. In which case, then, are you choosing to power attack at all? You can take up to minus with a two-handed weapon up to -5 to your attack roll, and add double whatever you're subtracting to the damage.
Yeah, I'm going to power attack with a -4 from my attack roll.
So this will be +8 to damage. Go ahead. They are going to try and...
If I just put temp mod -4 and then hit roll it, it'll include that, right?
What is the total right now? Is the total +9?
Well, it was...
For melee?
Yeah, it's 9 without any bonus.
Yeah, so that's what you could do. You could put -4 and then go ahead and roll.
So put temp modifier -4, and then it brings it down to a total of 5, and then hit roll.
Yep, and then it'll roll properly. Holy shit!
That's an 18, okay.
Oh my god. Go ahead and roll damage, and we're adding 8 to the total here. You can also add a temp modifier, I think, on that, but...
Yeah, I don't see a place for it, so I'm just going to hit the damage button and add 8.
My God.
So literally, it's like, I don't know, at the end of Rob Roy, when he sinks his claymore into the guy's neck and it just like cuts him like open.
Yeah.
Like that.
Remember I mentioned at the outset too, if you do 20 points of damage, it damages the armor. So you splintered this leather jerkin as well. And a reminder, you have cleave.
So I get to roll another attack?
Same thing as same modifier, so it'll be -4, and then you get to add that to the damage. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh, man.
Oh.
10, that's 18 points of damage. Let me just double check your armor piercing with your greatsword. Yeah, it's an AP 9, so that cuts right through him too. Also, by the by, your greatsword has a crit on a 19 or 20. That first hit was not 28 damage. It was 56 damage.
Oh, I only rolled an 18 though on that one.
Oh, that's right. You rolled 18, not 19. Sorry.
I was one off, but still, that would have been, yeah.
All right, so Hacken, with one mighty stroke, 2 of these guards are down.
And then he just bellows out laughing and turns around to look at the ones facing Isildur.
Nice. All right, then I think that is worth a fate point. So then the girl's going to try and... Oh, you can move, too. You still have a move action. I can't remember rules is written if you have to move before your attack, but it's the way a lot of the other rules are written, it makes me think that you can move whenever the fuck you want.
Okay. I'll move directly opposite Sir Isidore, right behind the line of guys that are in front of him.
Okay. Yeah! So you charge in to the mob that is there, and then the girl
There's got to be all kinds of blood and gore all over me, because I just splayed 2 dudes.
Yeah, in one sweep. Then, Sir Isidore, what are you doing?
Sir Isidore is going to try to use the current circumstance to intimidate the group that's on him, and he wants to call their attention to what Haken has just done.
Okay.
And mention to them that this is not going to end well for you.
Let me double check one thing here. Because there is a feat called Steely Gaze in here. And I think that it allows you could spend a fate point to have that. Let me double check what the requirements are and what it does. So Steely Gaze, Intimidation 8 ranks, Charisma 13. You
I do have
definitely
intimidation.
Oh, you don't have
charisma.
Yeah, so you would only have it
18.
for the one thing. But what this allows you to do is you can demoralize as a free action then. So you could spend a 4 point to try and demoralize the group, and then still make 2 attacks. One with your broadsword, one with your Ganata knife.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I want to do.
Okay, so spend a fate point.
Okay.
And go ahead and give us a... let me tell you what the target number is here. It's 12... there it is. An 11. Difficulty 11. And then because it's a group, we'll say it's 13. Oh, your intimidation first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oops.
So what is the thing that they sort of startled him when he rushed in? What's the thing he now says that chills all of their blood?
You have chosen the wrong outsiders to extract from your search.
Nice.
And I will point exactly at what the mess that Hack had made of their friends.
And then for your attack, do you wish to power attack at all, or are you just going to attack and take whatever you?
I think just the.
Or combat expertise, I guess, as well.
Can I still use combat expertise? I think, and I'll do 2 this time.
2 this time? Okay, so your defenses will be up by 2. So let's put his attempt modifier maybe -2.
-2.
I think I had to put attempt modifier in there of 2. Just reduce it down to 0.
Got it.
Okay, and then go ahead and make your attack with your broadsword.
First is the broadsword.
Solid hit. Yep. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
And this will be add +2 to the result. 14. So yeah, you as these are sort of like trying to collect themselves from this icy threat, you leap forward, slash your broadsword across the throat of my initiative tracker. Of course it is. God damn it. Oh my god. I think I knew where they were in the initiative order anyway. So one of them is down. You still have your Ganada knife. Go ahead and make your second attack.
This is also the 2, right? Okay.
Same attack. Yeah, same attack bonus. Oh, the Ganada knife would be 2 less, actually. So that would be a 10 against theirs. But because of the demoralize, does demoralize hit their AC, or is it only it's a saves and ability checks and stuff like that. That one will be a narrow miss. Would you like to fate point that?
I think I'll spare my fate for now.
Okay. So one of them is cut across the throat. You cut across the breastplate of a second one, who pulls back in terror. Then you could take a step 2. So if you wish to move out of immediate melee contact with these clowns, you could do that. Yes,
I'll step.
Okay.
Step back.
All right. And then it is... they were supposed to go before. That's what happened. Is I rolled 20.
No, they go before me.
Yeah. Okay. So they are going now. Let's check and see if these clowns freed themselves. Nope. Still no. A 1 and a 4. All right. So there's 2 in the. They're gonna have a heck of a shock when they get out of that awning. Oh boy, I am gonna make a morale check for them. Is they're at -2 right now, and they got to decide whether they fear you or fear their master more. And okay, let's make that roll. So I need a 12. So I need 8 or higher of these. 1, 2. 2 of them have agreed with you, Sir Isidore, and they turn and race off in the direction of the steel or the sword quarter. What are the chances of me getting my initiative tracker again? They are 0. The other 2, however, steel themselves and go in. However, so your defenses, your parry is currently a 17, and I need with their demoralize and their gang up bonus, I need a 16 to hit you. So, nat 20 though. One of them manages to get through, and that's ×2 damage. So that is, and I actually don't remember if there's confirming crit in this. I'm not going to do it right now, and I'll look it up. I wouldn't do that for you guys this round, or this session. Holy fuck. That is 20 points of damage. So that is -2, so 18 total, Sir Isidore.
Wow.
One of them seems One of them says, Tutamans will be done, and stabs in, and you manage to get caught trying to defend yourself. That is it for them. Hakon, what are you doing?
Wow, that's not very nice.
No. While you're doing that, I'm going to double check about confirming crits. Because if I need to confirm crits, I'll make that second roll. Because they had a very low chance of hitting you. That's a lot of fucking damage.
Yeah, I was just looking at the combat maneuvers to see if there's anything here that... But,
Crit hits.
100.
It might be. I need to... Yeah. I still need to confirm crits just like in 3.5. So give me a sec here. Let's see. I need a 16. I rolled a 9, so Sir Isidore, give yourself 10 points back. Still, 10 points is not nothing.
No.
I will take it.
Oh, no, sorry, you took 18. Give yourself 10 points back, because that was the extra 10, was the doubling. All right. I'm sorry, Hakon, your turn. What are you doing?
You know what? I'm going to hit this guy with a power attack. But I'm not going to lean quite as much into it because they're a little softer than I thought they were. So
yeah,
I'm only going to take -3 off.
Okay, that'll be +6 of damage. 13 is a hit.
Oh, really?
He's not able to get. Yeah, he's not able to get his parry in the way. Go ahead and roll damage. And go ahead and roll your cleave.
Okay.
That is a hit as well. Go ahead and roll your damage. So
it's like
wow. All right. Then Hakon.
And then he looks to Sir Isidore and goes, "What about those two on your awning?"
Let's see. The girl is able to get both hands on right now, and she's hanging from above. Sir Isidore, what are you doing? That hurt.
You mean these two? And I think that he's going to try to go over to the two who are trapped in the awning and further grapple them within it so that they're whatever progress they may be making to free themselves, he's reversing or making it harder for them.
If you're not just trying to hold, here's an alternative. I'm assuming what your goal is here is to try and just neutralize them. You could do a pommel strike and just hit them.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. I will pommel them.
So they're
Am I able to do that with both weapons?
Yeah, it's the same damage from either weapon.
Okay.
You wouldn't be able to attack with both in one round because that's a full attack, but what you could do is step up, and they're flat-footed. All you need is a 10 to hit, and you could power attack with everything and kind of put both hands and try and knock one of them out.
All right. That's what I'll go for.
Okay.
What's the power attack effect?
So that would be minus whatever. If you're doing it with two hands, then it's every -1 that you take gives +2 damage. In your case, you can do up to your base attack, which is 4. So you could take -4 to hit and do +8 damage with the pommel strike. That would be 11 plus 1d4 damage.
Yeah, let's go for 2 or 4. I'm sorry.
4. You got it.
Go for 4.
So just make your adjustment on your thing.
So
I think
-2 to hit.
Yeah, correct. -2 total.
Okay.
And then go ahead. You see a 10 or higher to hit these guys. Right on the nose. 1d4 plus 11.
Oh no, right on the head. Right on the head.
Yeah.
All right. So this is, I think.
1d4 plus 11.
All right.
So you have to add 8 to that.
Well, you just add 8 to that is 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Ugh. So one of them, who I'm fairly certain is my initiative tracker. No, it's not. Ugh. Unconscious in there. And then the last one is going to try and escape here. 15, he manages to tear himself free of the awning to stand next to you now, Sir Isidore, and he stands revealed before you, Hakon. What are you doing?
Well, we only need one to find out why they're chasing the girl.
That's true.
power
This one is
attack.
disposable.
I'll move over to him and put. I'm going to put 5 points in power attack. What the hell?
God, plus 10 damage on a hit. Come on. Yep, that's a hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
This is so good. Plus 10? Oh, it's only
22, yeah. So he comes out in time to meet this charging Northman. Carved him out, blood sprays on the wall. What happens next, guys?
I sure hope she didn't do something bad.
Sir Isidore will look at Hakon's blade and say, "Are you sure you need a new weapon? This one seems to work just fine."
Hope the new one works just as well.
Let's speak with the girl. And I guess we'll take the knocked out one, kind of drag him away here from the scene a little bit so that we may get a chance to...
Yeah, you could put your broadsword away. A quick slice with that razor-sharp Ganata knife carves away the thing, and you can see the what he's wearing, and it looks like it's some kind of like household insignia that is on here, but there is a name that they called out. Tut-Haman. Would you give us an arcane roll? Arcana. Knowledge Arcana. Sir Isidore. And Hakon, how are you going to get this girl down?
I'm going to wipe my sword off on one of the bodies.
Yep.
And clean up myself from some of the blood. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to say, "Girl, from my dreams, I dreamt of you. Why are you here in this alley?
Why don't you give us a diplomacy check?
Come down. I promise not to hurt you."
You're going to be able to take a plus... I think +2 to your diplomacy check. Does seem like you were trying to be fairly hard. Oh, and also each of you gets a fate point, by the way. You just beat the hell out of 10 men.
Technically, 2 ran away, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, fortunately, they won't warn their master and bring reinforcements.
Oh, that's a terrible diplomacy. But just got a fate point. It seems like a good time to be doing the diplomacy thing, so I'm gonna re-roll it. And
but that does get 5. You get +2 to it, and you get to add +10 because you rolled less than 5. So that's a 17 total. So this is, and Sir Isidore, while I'm thinking of it...
Why is there a +10?
Because you spent a fate point. Remember, doesn't re-roll.
Oh, on the re-roll, right?
Yeah, on a re-roll, your re-roll will always be a minimum of 11.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Because Roll20 likes to eat up our meta currency, so that's good. That's a good rule.
Yeah.
We should introduce that rule to Jeff.
What I was looking for is your healing. So what you can do, short-term care, you spend 10 minutes cleaning and sewing up wounds, applying herbal poultices and so forth, and I believe you have healing kits. After each combat in which a creature was wounded, you can... if the healing check is successful, healing is a difficulty of 15. They regain 1 point per character level plus their con modifier and hit points. I think your con is a 0, so you would regain 6 hit points from stitching up your wounds and whatnot, Sir Isidore. It would be a DC 15 check if you want to do that.
What was the roll again?
Heal. Your heal is not great, but you are actually trained in it.
Ugh.
I mean, you could fate point that after if you happen to roll dog shit.
Oh,
look at that. You did roll. I mean, not dog shit, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Do you want to spend a fate point? Okay.
Yeah, I do. I think it's...
I think you should have 1 left, right?
I should have 1 left.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? I don't... It's not updating on my...
We just got one.
Guide, but...
Here,
Did you add one from the one we just got?
There you go.
Okay.
And then just go ahead and roll again. Yeah, there you go. Great. So you regain 6 hit points from stitching yourself up and getting yourself back together. The girl is going to try and climb down. Oh shit, Hacken. She looks like she's going to fall. She may have been able to get herself up there in a panic. But she loses her grip on one hand.
He leaps forward to try and help her.
Go ahead and give us a climb check to get up there. If the girl was able to get up there. Yeah, look at that. I wish I could remember the name of your pirate ship from our last time we saw a version of these characters. But having climbed up and down the ropes on this is nothing for you. You're able to climb up there and grab hold of her. I just say, too, as massive and powerful as Hacken is, Sir Isidore is no slouch. You got a 16 strength.
Yeah, so, he's strong.
He's a little sickly. His con is a lot less. But he makes it up for it in charm and
he had too much drink last night.
There's that too, yeah. So Hacken, you grab hold of her in your mighty thews and bring her down to level. She looks up at you and says, I found you.
You did. I have flowers from my dream.
I dreamed of flowers too. One who would help. And she grips hold of your hand. Her hands are cool to the touch. And she says, the princess. The sorcerer has her. You must free her.
What princess?
The Princess Meskihama.
Let's get down. Yes.
Meshkahima, sorry. Oh, not Mech, hold on. M-E, let me try typing here. Kahima. And Sir Isidore, would you give us one more Arcana check, please? So, a couple things. The name. Let's catch up with what Sir Isidore has been doing. The name Tutaman has been playing over in your mind. Why does that name sound familiar? And you recall in one of the wise folk that you had spoken to over the course of your travels, the Stygian outcast Tuthaman, a sorcerer of repute who is said to have fallen in with he's fallen out of favor, I guess is the way to put it, with the members of the Black Circle, the sorcerers who are said to rule Stygia. And, or at least the ones who truly rule Stygia. You had heard that Tutaman had came northward, but you know not where that is, or at least did not know until now. If he is present here, he is most certainly a powerful sorcerer, though you know not anything about the man himself, apart from the myth that precedes him. The other thing is Meshkahima. That is an Acheronian name. Acheron is an empire long fallen, burned to the ground by the sons of Bori. It is one of the ruins, not as old as lost Atlantis, but as equally lost. So, Hakon, from where you get to, this girl is crying for help, and you guys can now hear the sound, the distinctive sound. You all recognize it. Guards coming.
We must be off.
Where? The sorcerer's abode. He has ill intent for the princess.
We must get away from here, and then we will discuss this further. Sir Isidore.
So you scoop the girl up, and then what would you guys like to do?
Be a hasty retreat from the alley.
We need to wind our way away from the scene. Hopefully, I think this would be the first time we would want to traverse the alleyways. Whereas most of the time we've been staying on the main roads, this would be the alleyway time.
So then I think Sir Isidore has knowledge local. That would definitely be that. And if Hakon wishes to assist, perhaps physically by assisting people getting over difficult to climb places with climb, or maybe with your keen senses honed by a childhood in the wildlands of the north, or anything else you might...
I think listening was going to come in handy when we're listening for the guards as we go. So it's like, oh no, we can't go down this alley. I can hear them down the next street.
Sure. So Hakon, it's a DC 10 you're rolling against. Give us a listen check, please. Yeah, holy shit. We'll give you a +3, Sir Isidore.
All right.
And this will be contested by their perception check. Yeah, that's 26 total. What does it look like as you guys are winding your way through the dark alleys and the back streets of Akbatana? And where is it you're headed?
I want to say we're hugging the walls and cutting the corners as fast as we can, trying to zig and zag our way away from the location, and then this way, Isidore will lead, and Hakon might stop me just to kind of double check that he's not hearing anybody following us. And I imagine that the girl is we're holding her hand and kind of leading her along with together at this point.
Yeah, and she is silent for the entire time and absolutely takes your lead. It takes maybe 20 minutes of tense, winding through places, through shops, out the back alley, waiting for the perfect moment for them to pass, listening, go now, until you guys find yourself at, let's see here. I think I have... Why don't we here? One of these empty alleyways. And let me bring the girl along as well. So you reach a street that appears utterly deserted at this time of day. It is only not even noon. Early in the day for such bloodshed, even by Shemitic standards. What do you think this is? Zamora? So, you reach this place. There's still some people going by, but you are able to find that there is no one following. The sound of guards in pursuit are far off. What do you guys do next?
Cast magic missile.
A hole appears in the girl's back. Now, also you saved the girl. You each get a fate point for that too.
Ooh. Long time viewer Ice King is in the house.
Hey, there's Ice King. That's why you're saying magic missile. Hey, Ice King.
Like, yeah. Got to be going on 2 years or longer. Ice King's been watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
So Isidore, I will say, has not. You learned the stuff about Tutankhamun and about the name that the princess the girl has offered, but you have not yet shared that with Hakon, if you wish to.
Yeah.
Maybe first, I will offer the girl a drink of water that I would have been carrying, no doubt, for my own flight this morning, and I would ask her at this point, "What is your name, girl?"
She takes the water and greedily kind of gulps it down. When she puts her head back, the limited amount of light that is able to get down into the alleyway, it hits her eyes, and you think of what Hakon had said this morning, like emeralds. And they do. This has the same deep green color and character of those precious stones. And as she finishes her drink, she tells you, Era. And I'll put it on her token here.
Oh, I was gonna. incorrectly spell it in chat.
That's a pretty good chance. Yeah, I've picked the names of a lot of these Hyperborean names. The spelling of a lot of these Hyperborean names are pretty fun. All from the core book, by the by.
Sweet.
So,
A-Rob, what is it? Where is it that you come from, and how is it that we would help you?
we were
This is all
taken
so sudden for us.
slavers far from our home. Vanir raiders. They took many of us. We traveled for so long before we were sold to this sorcerer. There is a ritual he is using on the princess. He intends to kill her, or worse. She is trapped. Please. Please. You must help. And you can give a sense motive check. Either of you, if you'd like. If you have any concerns about Dreamchild. Nat 1, Sir Isidore. You want to fate point that, or?
I'm gonna have to convince him. No match. She's being true.
I will.
So, there's one or two ways that we could deal with the fumbles too. Fumbles can either be that a nat 1 is a nat 1 and you're stuck with it the way it is in Savage Worlds, or we could rule that nat 1s on the re-roll count as a fumble. So, what do you guys think?
I like the reroll fumble
I
idea.
like that better too, only because the chances of it happening are a lot lower. And fumbles are not, that's something I'm not crazy about in these games. I got plenty of ways to fuck you over with crit hits on you guys. I don't need to add another way.
Another element?
What do you think? It says a Brancalonia dice?
With 2 20s on it? Come on. You wouldn't do that to us.
There you go. For what it's worth, and for the limited amount of time that you have lately spent with children, she seems utterly convinced of whatever it is she is saying. Holy fuck, Hacken, that's right, I missed yours. Hacken, you likewise too. There is no artifice that you sense in her at all.
And this sorcerer you mentioned, he's the one that has the princess?
A masked man. He has guards in masks as well. I do not know what he has planned for her. It is dark, and it is... I think he means to offer her to a demon.
I think as soon as he hears demon, Hacken would look over to Sir Isidore. It's like, do you know any of this sorcerer, or...
Oh, unfortunately,
child to demon?
I've heard of this. I've heard of this Tutaman before, a Stygian sorcerer who has fallen out with his kinmen. I think her story is true. I believe her. And if you would wish to, then I would help her as well.
And then I think Hacken leans in and whispers, "This is the girl from my dream, the flowers. It's like the gods themselves want us to help her."
You rolled a 32, I think, earlier with your roll. Hacken, Sir Isidore, having said that, you're reminded of what some of your initial impressions were. There is something that is not something that happens by chance. If he has never seen this girl before, it is not a circumstantial meeting. She may be telling the truth about what she believes is happening or whatnot, but telling the truth is not the same thing as knowing the truth. And it doesn't change. With what Hacken has said, for some reason, unsettles you more than confirms that this is, that what is presented here is what indeed is occurring.
Well, didn't she say she's been trying to get me trying to find me?
She
or...
said she found you. Yeah.
So what the link is still very unknown to us. Why you would see her and she would see you is not clear.
So here's some options. Let me tell you.
My next question is, how did you know to look for me?
She looks.
In my dreams.
I saw you in a dream as well. And Hacken, she's not telling the full truth there. You rolled really well on that sense motive.
And he's like, come now, be straight with us. If we are going to put our lives on the line to save your princess friend, we must have it all, and the truth of it.
Are you being friendly in this sense with your deception, or your diplomacy, or are you
I think
commanding it?
He's not commanding it. It's a heartfelt, like,
sure,
if I'm going to put my heart on the line. Yeah.
Go ahead and give us a diplomacy check. I'll give you a +2 because you seem really taken with this girl.
Well, only re-rolling that.
It can, yeah. Otherwise, I mean, Sir Isidore, I don't think you've seen Hacken dissembling with words this way. Perhaps because, okay, so 16 is better. But Hacken hasn't. You have not known him to use diplomacy. He is much more of a "this is being done," type of individual, and perhaps that's why he seems to be struggling with this girl.
I think he will forego the diplomacy and try to intimidate her and let her know that if this is urgent, if this is real, then you must tell us everything.
Okay. Go ahead and give us an intimidation check. Ooh. What's your bonus? It's quite high, I think. Yeah, it's a 10. That was a 6 you rolled. You know what I'm going to give you, though? You have the investigator feat. +2 on all gather information and search checks. I'll apply this here, too. Because that's sort of what you're trying to do, is get
her to talk.
So she spares you a quick look, Sir Isidore, and she still does not respond, but why don't you give us a sense motive check again, please? Now, would you like to...
I will go ahead
fate point that
last fate point there. Come on, roll 20. No.
1. Here's what I'd like you to do. Would you kindly give us... Now, do you have any bonuses against terror?
Like fear?
Fear or terror. Yeah, terror checks are a specific kind of mechanic in the game. When you're faced with unnatural things, you sort of have to struggle to keep your mind together.
I don't believe
I don't think you do, no.
No. Yeah.
Once you multi-class it to sorcerer, though, oh, mama, you're going to get a big bonus there. I mean, it's at the cost of your soul, so it better be one. But
it better be good.
Okay, so hold on. What I'd like you to give us is a... Let me just check what the difficulty is going to be here. I think it is 19, but let me just double check here. Here we go. No, it's lower than that. It is a 15. Would you give us a DC 15 will save, please? Oh, no! Not one!
And no points left?
And no fate points left. That's awesome. All right, so here's the thing. Fortunately, you are higher than 3rd level, so you will not just swoon and pass out. I'd like you to describe... I'll tell you what the mechanical effect is going to be, and then you can tell us what happens here. The mechanical effects are... A frightened character takes -2 penalty on all attack rolls, saving throws, skill checks, and ability checks. He flees from the source of his fear as quickly as he can. You can choose the path. Other than you being out of sight, it is 3d6 rounds that you will be terrorized, so a few minutes at most. But what you can tell, whatever lurks behind those emerald eyes, Sir Isidore, is much older and more malevolent, and most definitely inhuman of anything you have encountered. So what does Hakon see as Aira meets Sir Isidore's intimidating glare? What does he see Sir Isidore do?
I think he recoils. He was kind of leaning in, and as he gets this glance, he lets her go and steps backwards, and he's imagining and now remembering all of the things he's heard about these Stygians and their sorcery, and his lack of knowledge of what they're capable of has him imagining the worst, and that somehow she is cursed in his mind and a part of it, and he begins to recoil further and eventually turns and wanders off, just walking away completely without saying anything to Hakon or her.
So Hakon, even if you do say a word or two to Sir Isidore, it's that, like, for one, Sir Isidore doesn't hear it and does not seem to respond at all. And Aira looks back at you. What is he doing? And there's definitely, again, something amiss with this girl. But again, only partial untruths here. As far as you can tell, Hakon, you got a much better measure of her than what Sir Isidore did.
Well, because I think I did. Okay, well, he was like, "Come with me. We need him."
He scares me.
He's not scary to you, but he'll be scary to those who have taken the princess. But we need him. I need him. He's going to keep the snows away someday.
Okay. Oh, look at that. We see the connection between the two. I love it. So what, Aira then kind of takes your hand, Hakon, and steps out. And Sir Isidore, what's going through your mind as you're staggering down this alleyway, you know, kind of just almost insensate with terror?
I think he's imagining that what was his name again, real quick? The
Tutaman?
Tutaman. He's imagining right now that Tutaman knows everything that's happened and knows about what just happened in the alley, and that is using her as some type of medium here, and doesn't trust any of that, and is now feels like he has to get away or else he will be known and located.
So you're staggering along, almost blind with fear, and maybe where... Oh, go ahead.
Hakon's going to run up and grab him from behind and just say, "Hold, man. Stop running off."
And you look down and she's there, and maybe this is times right around the time when your fear ends. And then... Give me 2 moments here. Where is that? Hyborian Fang Dragon. Where are you? As you collect yourself, you can hear the booted, or the metal of the armored figures. As you stagger along, fill the alleyway at the top of the stairs. And each, you cannot see their eyes, but you can feel them glaring at you behind the masks. Aira grabs your hand even harder, Hakon. And they say, in Tutamon's name, give us the girl. And that, guys, is where we'll pick up tomorrow. So, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is we will not get to both tales that I've written for our Hyborian heroes here. The good news is that means I have another story ready for Conan with these characters. So,
yeah.
As we end, why don't you each take a fate point as well to conclude the session and before we wrap up. So this is the first time playing Conan the Roleplaying Game, and first time, you did not create these characters, you're playing pre-gens. We've only seen one fight. Any initial impressions here so far?
The battle is epic. The battle is just absolutely epic. All of the things that you can do that make you heroic, I think is really unlike a lot of games I've played. It gives you a lot to do and a lot of impact that you can make. At least I feel that way already about our characters, Dave.
Yeah, and actually, epic was the word that popped into my head as soon as Kev said about feedback. I'm like, yeah, like that's the list of special things, and even more so now that I realize that you don't need fate points to use them all. Just the top of the sheet. Yeah, never mind. Anyways, so yeah, there's some pretty cool, like cooler than your standard, like feats and bull rush and trip and disarm and your standard adventurer techniques. They just add a little bit more flavor and also like make you feel like you're the hero, which is kind of how it's supposed to be.
Definitely not without threat, right? Because like of how I like that you're able to heal yourself afterwards with that, even with your relatively low heal skill, but not full, right? Like that definitely means like a couple of hits really would make a difference in the long term.
Yeah.
Which might affect how you fight afterwards too, right?
And those gang up bonuses definitely make it more dangerous when there's a lot of, even a lot of flunkies can get in there, and if they can get a crit on you, like that's some serious damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, the parrying, I think the defensive aspect of combat too, they've thought out pretty well and given some options, and which is really, again, I just think gives it a lot of flavor. To your point, it's great.
That is awesome to hear. Yeah, because it's one of those things you can't see you can think it through from the GM's perspective. It's not until you're in the player's seat and playing through that those moment-to-moment decisions in it. Very cool. Well, then the upside is we will be concluding a Princess of Shem tomorrow, and the second adventure we'll figure out when we're going to play that, or if we're going to play that. You would, for the session today, each get 1,000 experience. With it, you were going to be gaining experience, which means you need 4 more sessions before you would hit level 6 or 7? 6 in it. So, to give context for how the XP or how advancement would work in it. Then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this first time running. I will say from the DM's perspective, there is definitely stuff that you need to keep track of, like the damage rating. Having the character sheets here was extremely helpful, because there is a lot of stuff, like to be able to look up what your AP is for different attacks or things like that without asking you guys each time just means I would want to have more notes when ran it to make sure that things were running smoothly and I wasn't constantly asking you guys for information about your characters. But yeah, then we'll be back to conclude this tomorrow afternoon. Or at the time of recording tomorrow afternoon. But in the interim, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game, or the adventure, please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There is also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where we have a channel dedicated to Dungeons & Dragons or D&D 3.5 games, where I have been posting stuff about this. I posted the characters from today's session and our combat maneuver rules that we're using over there as well, so you're more than welcome to head on over and download those if you want to see what the characters look like mechanically. There is also we have other channels there dedicated to most of the campaigns we run on the channel, as well as a bunch of other stuff like virtual tabletop information, or finding a group, or just DM discussion, or video game discussion. So great, there is a great community that has built up over the years over there, and you are more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a terrific selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print games like Conan. They have I will say, if you're searching through their catalog, be sure to check for Conan D20 if you're looking for this particular game, because Conan 2nd Edition sometimes shows up in it. The game we played tonight is... The Atlantean edition is the ideal version to pick up, because it is full color, gorgeous book. And I know that they have some in stock at Noble Knight. So if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code FALLMUSER, all caps, all one word, and you will save 10% on your purchase. That is good until about January 15th, and then it'll change over to a new one. If you want to find out what the new discount code is, head on over to the Dungeon Musings disc, one of our more recent videos. That's where you need to go, and you'll find the information there. Finally, there's also a link down below to the Heroes Save Villages charity campaign that we run on the channel. We have wrapped up our charity activities for the year, but donations still can be made to the Heroes Save Villages campaign that benefits SOS Children's Villages International. If you have any last-minute, donations you want to make for tax purposes or whatever, it benefits the SOS Children's Villages International charity. Really great organization, active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. All donations through that link go directly to them. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from SOS Children's Villages International's services. The last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart Hyborian heroes, Dave and Jamie. Neither had played the game before. Both went sight unseen playing pre-gens that happened to be put together. So guys, thank you so much for finally giving me a chance to run this fucking game. I'm not kidding. I tried talking up, and I pitched. You guys have been on the receiving end of some of my game pitches before. I pitched this one fucking hard, and I had no takers 20 years ago. 20 years later, I finally got it to the table. What a great fucking game. I really enjoyed this.
Couldn't be happier to help you slay a white whale today.
Yes!
Yeah, 100%. And I'm going to go out on a limb here that George would probably be here if he could. Yes.
George will be, yeah, he's in UK time zone. That is the only reason he wasn't able to make this, because of the... he's in the UK. He really wanted to play the session. So George, we are thinking of you, and I think there is if we needed an excuse to play again, plus we need someone to be the corrupted sorcerer, not the going to be corrupted sorcerer. So I'm sure George will be happy to play that. He has had 4 years of playing that in Night Below. So then we'll be back to conclude this adventure in, less than 24 hours time. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that are befalling our Hyborian Good Samaritans who just helped a man on the road and now find themselves facing Stygian sorcery, a kidnapped princess, and more. We'll find out what is going to happen in our concluding session in, a couple hours' time. So until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.
See ya.